Om Shanti. This is the Sakar Murli of the 31st of January 2015. In essence, Baba says today, sweet children, continue to follow the directions of the One Father, and the Father will be responsible for you. The Father's direction is, remember me whilst walking and moving around. The question is, what are the main signs of the children who are good and virtuous? What are the main signs of the children who are Gunvan? The answer is, they do very good service of changing thorns into flowers. They do not prick anyone like thorns do. They never fight amongst themselves. They do not cause sorrow for anyone. To cause sorrow means to prick them like thorns. The song for today's Murli is, this time is passing by, yeh waqt ja raha hai.
किसके लिए रुका है किसके लिए रुकेगा करना है जो भी कर ले ये वक्त जा रहा है ये वक्त जा रहा है.
Om Shanti. You sweetest, long lost and now found children, spiritual children, understand the meaning of the song number-wise according to the effort you make. Number-wise is said because some have first grade understanding, some have second grade, and others third grade. Each one understands in his own way. Each of you has your own individual faith in the intellect. The Father continues to explain, always consider it to be Shiv Baba giving directions through this one. You have been following devilish directions for half a cycle. Now, have faith that by following God's directions, your boat can go across. If you consider these directions to come from a human being and not from God, you become confused. The Father says, follow my directions, and I am then responsible for you. I am responsible for whatever activity is performed through this one. I will make it right. Simply continue to follow my directions. Those whose remembrance is accurate are the ones who follow my directions. If you understand at every step that these are God's directions and you follow them, you can never experience a loss. There is victory in having faith. There are many children who do not understand these things. By having a little knowledge, they become body conscious and they have very little yoga. Knowledge means to know the history and geography. This is very easy. People here study so much science. This study is very easy. It is yoga that requires effort. If someone says to Baba that he remains very intoxicated in yoga, Baba would not believe him. Baba sees each one's acts. Those who remember the Father must be the most lovely. However, when you don't have remembrance, it is then that you perform wrong actions. There is the difference of day and night. Now, you can explain the picture of the ladder very well. At present, this is a jungle of thorns. It is not a garden. You should explain clearly that Bharat used to be a garden of flowers. Do wild animals ever live in a garden? Only deities live there. The Father is the highest authority, and then Brahma, the Father of humanity, is also the highest authority. This Dada is also the highest authority. There is Shiv and there is Brahma, the Father of humanity. You souls are the children of Shiv Baba, and In your corporeal forms, you are brothers and sisters, children of Brahma, the father of humanity. He is the great-great-grandfather of everyone. A building is needed for such a highest authority. Write this and see if it touches anyone's intellect. There is Shiv Baba and there is Brahma, the father of humanity, the father of all souls and the father of all human beings. This is a very good point to explain to others. However, you children do not explain it fully. You forget it because you develop the arrogance of having knowledge. It is as though you even try to gain victory over Bap Dada. This Dada says, okay, if you don't listen to me, always think that it is Shiv Baba who is explaining and that you must follow his directions. It is God who is directly giving you directions to do this and that. He is responsible. Follow the directions given by God. This one is not God. You have to study with God. Always think that it is God who is giving you directions. Lakshmi and Narayan were also human beings of Bharat. All are human beings, but they were all residents of Shivalaya. That is why everyone says Namaste to them. However, some children don't explain fully. Many develop arrogance of their knowledge. Many have defects. It is only when you have full yoga that your sins can be absolved. To become a master of the world is not like going to your auntie's home. Baba sees how Maya catches hold of some children by their nose and throws them into the gutter. You should stay in remembrance of the Father with happiness and in full bloom. You should be Khushi mein prafullit. Your aim and objective is in front of you. You have to become like Lakshmi and Narayan. By forgetting this, your degree of happiness does not rise. Some say that they want to have conducted meditation because they are unable to remember him when they are outside. Because you don't stay in remembrance, Baba sometimes sends you a program to follow, but in spite of that, you don't sit in remembrance. Their intellects continue to wander here and there. Baba gives his own example. He was such a strong devotee of Narayan that he always kept a picture of Narayan with him wherever he went. Nevertheless, his intellect would still wander around at the time of worshipping. The same happens here. The Father says, whilst walking and moving around, you should continue to remember the Father, but many of you want to have a sister especially conduct meditation for you. There is no reason to have specially conducted meditation. There is no reason to have nishtha. Baba always says, stay in remembrance. While sitting in yoga, some children go into trance. Some children go into dhyan. They are unable to remember knowledge or have yoga, and they start dozing off. Many have the habit of doing that. That peace is only temporary, and it means that they are peaceless throughout the day. If you do not remember the Father whilst walking and moving around, how would your burden of sins be removed? This is the burden of half a cycle. It is considering yourself to be a soul and remembering the Father that takes a lot of effort. Although many children write to Baba telling him that they stayed in remembrance for such and such a time, they are not really able to stay in remembrance for that long. They don't really understand the chart. Baba is the unlimited Father. He is the purifier, and so you should remain in happiness. You should not think that you belong to Shiv Baba anyway. There are many children like this who think that they belong to Baba anyway, but they do not remember him at all. If they did remember him, they would become number one. You need a very good intellect in order to explain to others. We are praising Bharat. In the new world, there was the kingdom of deities. It is now the old world, the Iron Age. That is the land of happiness, and this is the land of sorrow. When Bharat was golden aged, it was the kingdom of deities. People ask you, how can we believe that it was their kingdom? This knowledge is so wonderful. Whatever is in each one's fortune, and whatever effort each of you makes, is clearly visible. You can tell from their activity. After all, you are human beings, both in the Golden Age and in the Iron Age. So, why do people go and bow their heads in front of those idols? They are called the masters of heaven. When someone dies, they say that so-and-so has become a resident of heaven. They don't even understand that. At this time, all are residents of hell. Everyone will surely take rebirth here. Baba continues to observe everyone's behavior. Baba has to talk in such an ordinary way to some of you. He has to look after you. The Father explains everything very clearly. You understand that this is correct, so why do you still become big thorns? By causing sorrow for one another, you become thorns. You do not let go of that habit. The Father, the gardener, is now planting a garden of flowers. He continues to change you thorns into flowers. This is his task. How could anyone who is a thorn change others into flowers? You still have to be cautious about whom you send to the exhibitions. Good and virtuous children are those who do the good service of changing thorns into flowers. They do not prick anyone like thorns do. That is, they do not cause sorrow for anyone. They never fight amongst themselves. You children have to explain very accurately. There is no question of insulting anyone in this. Shiv Jayanti is now coming, and so you should hold many exhibitions. You can also hold small exhibitions and explain. Become residents of heaven in a second. That is, from being impure, corrupt ones, become pure and elevated. Attain liberation in life in a second. They don't even understand the meaning of liberation in life. It is now that you also understand. Everyone receives liberation and liberation in life from the Father. Everyone receives mukti and jivan mukti from the Father. However, you also have to understand the drama. Those in the other religions will not come to heaven. Everyone will return to their own section. Then they will come down at their own times to establish their religions. This is clearly shown in the picture of the tree. No one other than the one Sadguru can grant salvation to all. However, there are many gurus who can teach you devotion. No human guru can grant salvation. I repeat, no human guru can grant salvation. You simply need the wisdom to explain. You have to use your intellect in this. This drama is played out so wonderfully. There are very few of you who remain intoxicated by this. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long-lost and now-found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the Mother, the Father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children, and the spiritual children say namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for dharana. The first point is, become most lovely by having remembrance of the one Father, whilst walking, moving around, and performing actions, practice remaining in remembrance. Stay in remembrance of the Father and remain happy and in full bloom. Remain khushi mein prafullit. The second point is, follow God's directions at every step whilst performing every action. Do not become arrogant. That is, do not have intoxication of body consciousness. Do not have magruri. Do not perform any bad actions. Do not become confused. The blessing for today is, may you be a world benefactor who keeps the seed of thought filled with good wishes of benevolence. May you be a world benefactor, may you be Vishwa Kalyanakari, who keeps the seed of thought filled with the good wishes of benevolence, of Kalyan. The explanation is, just as the essence of a whole tree is in the seed, similarly, the seed of thought should be filled with good wishes for every soul and for nature. Every thought should be filled with the sweet essence of the intention of making everyone equal to the Father, of making weak ones strong, of making nirbal balwan, of making unhappy and peaceless souls constantly happy and peaceful. No seed of thought should be empty of this essence, that is, it should not go to waste. When you are powerful with the intention of benevolence, you will be said to be a world benefactor soul, the same as the Father. The slogan for today is, instead of being afraid of any jhamela of Maya, continue to celebrate the pleasure of a godly mela. Instead of being afraid of any jhamela of Maya, continue to celebrate the pleasure of a godly mela. The special homework to experience the Avyakt stage in this Avyakt month, the 31st point is, the specialty of an angelic or Avyakt life is to be ignorant of the knowledge of desire. There is no question of any desire in the deity life. When your life becomes a Brahmin life, and so an angelic life, that is, when you have attained the Karmatit stage, then you cannot be bound by any type of action, whether it is a pure action, a wasteful action, a sinful action, or an action of the past. Om Shanti.